everybody, let out the way you've been feeling all day right now. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, sound guy. I apologize. There's one guy in the back with headphones on that's like, I'm voting for Trump next time. The first thing that I saw when I walked out of my house the day after the election was a pair of shoes on the ground like this that were placed like this outside of my house, as if somebody had been walking down the street the night before, saw the results of the election and said, you know what, fuck this, and shot themselves into space. Just like the Lorax of racism. Just like, you know what? I'm out of here. I worked hard forever. You guys don't deserve me anymore. Lifted himself to space. We have to work to get him back. I don't know if anybody else spent election night crying in a pantsuit. It's a hell of a thing when you're a 32-year-old woman crying in a costume. I was at a friend's house, and I got a bunch of friends that think they're witches, and they were like burning sage in the corner. And I was looking at it like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I kept staring at the TV, and then I walked out into the street, and I grabbed a pile of gravel, and I just shoved it into my tits, and I was like, is this how crystals work? Is this how crystals work? Just put rocks in your bra and you get a female president? Is that how it works? Didn't do it. So then I just took those rocks and I threw them out into the darkness. So now I don't believe in democracy or magic. It's a really rough 1-2 punch to get hit with at the same time. It's fucked up. It's funny to like be a white woman, but also be one of the good ones. That's now become our thing, so that's fun. And I've been trying to figure out what the fuck went wrong with a bunch of them, and this is where I've come up with, and this won't be funny for a second, but we'll get there. Hey, we're all gonna get there, guys. Here's the thing, you guys left your fetal positions, and if you carry a fetal position to term, it becomes a protest. That's... But I think there's a lot of ladies in the world that are in small towns all over America that they have men in their lives that are verbally and physically abusive to them, and they saw the president, and there's a thing in psychology called normalization, and if something horrible happens to you, you seek out things that repeat that pattern. Because if the pattern repeats, that's the way the world is, as opposed to your life needing to change. So I think there's a lot of people that have been verbally abused their entire lives and saw Trump and were like, if I admit that that's wrong, then I have to admit that my dad and my brothers and my husband and all the guys that I've known in my small town of 30 people, and they're all angry, that I have to admit that they're wrong, and I don't know how to get out of that. And like I said, it will be funny in a second. I think that's a major thing that we don't deal with. We have a mental health crisis in this country, and we don't empower people and teach them how to get the fuck out of stuff. And like, I think about that, and to me, I'm like, oh man, well, I'm a fucking woke white woman. I know what's up. That's never happened to me. But then this popped into my head a couple weeks ago. 5 years ago, I was going to go meet a friend for brunch, 3rd and Fairfax, and this little old man in like a 3-piece suit with a walker, slick back hair, clean shaven, looked like anyone's grandpa, adorable little old man, stops me and he goes, beautiful lady, you remind me of a girl that I used to know. Could I perhaps kiss your hand in remembrance of her? And he bowed to me like a cartoon frog. Just like, yes, please, thank you. And I remember being like, who the fuck do I remind you of? I'm like a pin-up Wolverine, I don't understand who I am to you, but okay, if I could see the veins in his hand, you know what I mean? Like that kind of old where you're like, all right, if it's your last request, fine. And I gave him my hand and he pulled me in and he kissed me on the face 5 times in a row. And I just went, what the fuck? And then he turned around on his walker and he went, ah! He didn't even look back to make sure that I wasn't gonna kill him. And let's talk about this, I definitely could have murdered that old man. Their bones are so brittle, it'll be like curb stomping a Fabergé egg, you know what I mean? You ever throw a bag of wet garbage down an alley? That's what it would feel like. And I went and met my friend for brunch, and he was like, oh man, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. And then I like completely just internalized it and forgot about it. Until we elected a rapist. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I was assaulted at one point in my life. What? That's crazy. And like, that's a whimsical story. But a lot of people have stories that are much worse than that are constantly reliving them because of the rapist that we elected. The end of that joke, I'll find a tag that makes it all better, you guys. If you voted for Trump, you shouldn't have gotten an I voted sticker. You should have gotten a used panty liner. You know, like from like a bathing suit at the bottom of a clearance bin at Walmart. Like just like that hygienic strip, that's what you get. And that asshole, it's so crazy because like the pussy grabbing thing happened, and it's so funny because Donald Trump grabbing a pussy is like a domesticated dog catching a bird. Once they have it, they don't know what to do with it anyway. Let's talk about that. Donald Trump has never made a woman come. Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. That is the driest man that's ever... He's just flaking at all times. Oh, God. I'll leave you with a thought more than a joke. This is something I keep thinking about. When you laugh, the sound of laughter is you saying, I am here and I am joyous. And it's impossible to be afraid in the moment that you were laughing. And I think about that every time I'm on stage, and I appreciate you guys coming out and watching live comedy. Thank you. Give it up for Orlando.